So watch to see how I use this and this to make something. So I got a bit over exuberant, and I've taken these pieces off before I filmed it. So I've just used the chisel. Sorry. So I've just used the chisel, gone down, broken these bits off, and they're all good. They could be used again. So now I'm just removing this from the bottom plate. So there you go. We've got the let's do that so you can see my ugly face. So there you go. So we've got the casting out of the mould, and it's just going to need cleaning up, getting all the glue off of it, good sand, bit of a shape, and we're good to go. And I don't think you let me show you. So when I first, there you go. So it does have a bit of colour. You might be able to see that through me shining the light through. Now when I first mixed this up, so when I first mixed this up into the resin, the food dye, it went totally black. I presume there's some chemical reaction to the food dye being in there or something like that. So yeah, so it went totally black, and I really didn't think there was going to be any colour at all, but it's gone a sort of orangey red, a burnt orangey red. Now there is a lot of bubbles. Say a lot of bubbles. It's all around. You may not be able to see that. It's all around the piece of wood, basically, deeper into the casting. And I can see them when I look through it at a certain angle. But what the hell? They're the only ones in there. Everything else, so it's the air escaping from the wood that has caused all those bubbles. So all I'm going to do now is get this sanded and finished, and then I'll show you how I'm going to mount it. So another use for this nice big router base is that I've now turned my router upside down in holding in the vise and using this as a router table, just to do some radiuses. It's a bit quicker than doing on my normal router table and less fiddly. So here I'm making the, I suppose it's a pillar to attach the play button sign to the base. It's a piece of resin acrylic or resin, whatever, with a maple burl hybrid blank, which is maple is in the sign with the resin as well. better look. And this maple burl really sets this piece off really nicely. So I'm hoping it's just a simple little stem just to hold up the play side, the play button. So for the base of the play button trophy, as I'm going to be calling it, I'm using this piece of walnut, which at the moment is, let's have a look, let's give it in millimeters. So it's about 170 long, 90 wide, just under 30 thick. This isn't anything specific. It doesn't have to be square. It can be flat. This is going to be how it's going to stand with the post coming out and the play button on the top. I'm going to give it a bit of shape on the ends. I'm going to take a nice chamfer on the end there and this end, and probably round off the corners. That's about it. So I'm just cutting chamfers on this piece of walnut. So what I've done, I did these as little test pieces before I videoed it, but now I'm going to show you how I did this piece. So I've set my blade to 25 degrees, and all I do is run this in here, and that's how we get the chamfer. So yeah, you can watch. So there you go, we have a nice big chamfer on the ends there. It just needs sanding up and a nice finish put on it. And that's next, and I won't bore you with that because I'm sure you've seen it hundreds and hundreds of times. So I'll just get on and do it. So my tenon on the end here, which is going to go in here, is just under 12mm. So I've got a 12mm Forstner bit just to make a hole in there, and I've got to go in about 6mm. That is about 5mm. So if I go in 6mm, then at least I know it's going to not going to bottom out. Oh, sorry about that. So it's not going to bottom out, and it's going to sit nice and flush on the corners. Now we're going to try this in. Is a perfect fit. Oh, it's actually a little bit too big, but that's fine. So this is my entry into the Small Workshop YouTube Makers Facebook Challenge. Yeah, I got it all in one go. Well, actually it's been about 6 goes I've had to go at this. So anyway, yep, this is my challenge. It's sort of a trophy ornament type thing. I really don't know, I just put it all together. So it doesn't really mean anything apart from the YouTube button. It's not brilliant. It's been a project of a lot of experiments. That's all I can put it down to. A lot of experiments in a way. So first of all, we've got the resin with a colour to it. Now it's actually looking orange when you get it into the sunlight, but here it looks reddish, dark reddish. The piece of wood in the middle is maple. This part, whatever the column, I suppose you call it, this is from Pam Harris's pen blanks that she sent me to try, and it's lovely. It's a maple burr, I believe, with resin. I'll turn it around so you can see the rest of it. It's a lovely pen blank. And some of you might think, well, why use that lovely pen blank just to do this experiment? I don't know, I just picked it out and thought that's really, really nice, and that will go well with this part. The base is walnut with a linseed, boiled linseed finish on it. Now this is the part where all the experiments come in really. I used aluminite clear cast resin. It's the first time I've done a cast of this particular sort. I used my, hold on a second, cheap breadboard to make the mould, and I used food colouring for the colour. Now if you've seen the if you sorry, my wife just disturbed me to ask me if I wanted a cup of tea. She just appeared out of the corner of my eye in the garden. So anyway, so yep, so I put food colouring to colour it, mainly because I don't have any of the proper colours to use it, so I just thought, let's give it a go, see what happens. And I was really worried when I first poured it, because it went completely black, and you'll probably seen that in the video, completely black, and I thought, oh, I'm going to have a black YouTube button here. So I've sort of got a red one that you can see, it's sort of reddish, but you can probably, there you go, look, you can see the orange. Yeah, so it's sort of gone orange rather than red, but hey ho, lessons learned. Don't use food colouring to get the right colour. So yeah, so that's my entry. Obviously we can see loads and loads of bubbles around the wooden part, mainly because the wood wasn't stabilised, so it's still got air pockets, so that's all been brought out when it's been drying and everything like that. But the thing I'm really quite proud of is, apart from the air bubbles around the piece of wood, there is absolutely no air bubbles in this part. And all I used was a hairdryer when I done it, to pop all the surface bubbles in the mould before it dried, and that's worked really fantastic. Another thing that sort of happened was, when I sealed the mould, I used a glue gun on the inside just to make sure that nothing was going to come out, and some of that glue has actually stayed around the edges, so that's not made it too brilliant, but hey, it's an experiment. If you can't experiment, there's no point making stuff, is there? So all I can say is thank you for watching. Down below are all the links to all the other people that are taking part in the challenge, and descriptions of some of the stuff that I've used here to make the project. Yeah, and that's it, and good luck to all the other people in the challenge. If you're first time here watching this, please subscribe, you do the bell, do all the normal stuff for me please. It'll be a real big boost to me. I'm nearly up to 200 subscribers. I'm really pleased with that. I want to try and keep it going to get more, but I just really enjoy making stuff. Bye for now, and good luck to everybody else.